Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering. Here we have, these names are actually going to be reversed. We're going to have Kyle with Cephalid Breakfast on the left versus Matt with Blue Red Delver on the right. The perceived to be best deck in the format versus, I mean, let's be honest, with the win rate on this channel, this might just be the best deck in the format. Cephalid Breakfast is found on an absolute tear. But Blue Red Delver, certainly a legit test, very similar in terms of their shells. It's just a question of, are you going to go aggro or are you going to go combo? Ponder, Brainstorm, Daze, Force of Will, all in common. But instead of having Delver of Secrets, you get Cephalid Illusionist. Look to combo that with a piece that's either going to be Nomad in Core or Shuko, with plenty of ways to get all of those together. And there, right off the bat, we've got a Urza's Saga, which will eventually tutor up Shuko if allowed to, and Daze counters this Cephalid. Ooh, and Wasteland takes out the Urza's Saga. Things looking pretty good for breakfast. Another Urza's Saga joins in. Brainstorm, digging. Ideally, you'd have just like a first turn threat on board. This would be much better if breakfast's life total was under attack. A Delver or Dragon Rage Channeler. Other volcanic island. It's worth noting that Blue Red Delver now is actually on at least the 4 volcanics and 1 steam vent. Most of the time I'm seeing 2 steam vents. They just want all of the blue-red duels to be able to cast whatever spells they want with their lands. Murktide Regent. Double blue. That is an efficient threat. We've got a Force of Will. Protecting the Regent, I believe. Yeah, we got a force on Delver's side of the board. Force of Will not often used. Oh, here we go, Cephalid. Next turn, Shuko will be able to enter the battlefield uncounterably. I probably would have rather kept that Force of Will just to protect whatever I was. Oh, he's got the Shuko already. Well, Daze, Force of Will. No, nothing. The shields are down. Just 2 cards left in hand for Blue Red Delver. And we get to see this combo out, the Murktide Regent. Yeah, I definitely disagree with Force of Willing there, especially if you're so close to the win. You can certainly take a hit from Murktide without too much concern. Force of Will, better off protecting the combo, but as it turns out, not needed. I think I probably agree that Blue Red Delver has to force back there. I don't know. I guess they don't have to, but any Blue Red Delver players out there, let me know how many turns you think you can give a deck like this without a threat on board. And Breakfast takes that one down. Wow, Shuko, a top deck, I suppose. Not really. I mean, kind of a bad draw, given that you've got the Urza's Saga, but did come out a full turn earlier. Blue Red Delver is probably some of the most fun matches I've had with Cephalid Breakfast. It's just really capable of hanging in there, making plays, interacting. You got Pyroblast, Lightning Bolt, lots of ways to potentially kill the Cephalid. So, a really interesting matchup. Nomad in Core, incredibly important in this match. Get down the Nomads first, especially with a Stoneforge Mystic on the battlefield, then you are just going to be in incredible shape. Now, this particular Cephalid Breakfast list has actually completely cut the Stoneforge package and leans more heavily on Urza's Saga. I will say it's worth noting that Nomad in Core, particularly in the Blue-Red Delver matchup, is really, really strong when you have a creature to redirect damage from. So if your opponent does try to Lightning Bolt or Nomad in Core, sending that damage to your Stoneforge Mystic, which has already done its job, is totally fine. Potentially tutoring up Shuko or Aldra Complete. But any body that is on board, the reason for that is if you have a Cephalid out first and they have Lightning Bolt, they can bolt the Lightning Bolt. They can just bolt the Cephalid in response to your Nomads. But if you have a Nomads out first, they cannot bolt the Cephalid. They have to bolt Nomad. So if you have a creature to redirect to, you're actually able to keep your combo piece alive. It lines up particularly well with anything that's doing damage. Of course, Swords to Plowshares still get it out of there. Lightning Bolt. It's really the way that Blue-Red Delver is going to try and break up the combo on board. Being able to redirect with Nomads is very interesting. And I suppose the Construct tokens are something to consider for that as well. Having an extra body. Legacy. Just a good place to try out new builds. I've been talking about wanting to try a build without Stoneforge for quite some time, but one of those things I've been winning with breakfasts most of the time. I don't think I've gone worse than X and 1 recent memory. Very often sweeping when I've played it, so it's tough to want to make changes or even know what changes to make if you're not running up against problems. I got to thank Matt, the Blue-Red Delver player here. I believe he was the one that was piloting Torpor Orb. Some build of Control. Might have been Delver. That led to me bringing Thematic Ending, which I've been happy with in the sideboard. Versatile answer. Still don't know what my optimal Blue-Red Delver game plan would be. Might just be bringing in 3 Swords to Plowshares and 3 Thematic Ending. Delver of Secrets this time around. Looking to set a clock. Hopefully that'll be flipping for Matt and put some actual pressure on the life total. Of course, a 1/1 wizard not going to do the job. But once it flips into bug mode, hitting for 3 a turn, does close things out pretty quickly. Even on its own, even faster with friends. So those cantrips likely going to want to try find more disruption than additional speed. But breakfast can be very difficult to disrupt at times. It's got Aether Vial, Cavern of Souls, Ball Therapies to clear the way. I mean, a lot to be said trying to stop Cephalid breakfast. The easiest task. Not quite ridiculous as like the Depths decks, where they don't even have to cast a spell to win the game. I mean, I suppose that's technically true because they have sagas, but they're not comboing out without casting a spell. But it doesn't have to be counterable. Cavern can certainly Force of Will and Daze, and Force of Negation actually doesn't line up particularly well versus the deck at all because the combo pieces are creatures. By the time you go to cast Dread Return, you're going to have access to multiple Cabal therapies from the graveyard to clear the way. Cephalid Breakfast with a couple of basic lands, not wanting Corrupted by Wasteland, but does need to play Urza's Saga. Juicy Wasteland target. 3 more in the air. This game's going to be over in 4 turns. There you go. You just tell that Wasteland just dying. Take something out with itself. 1-for-1 trade, but so often feels way better than that. Head. Making both players skip a turn. Brutal. We got Nomad and Core. Oh no, and Cavern. So we got an uncounterable Cephalid here. Matt takes a look quickly at his hand. He brainstorms. What is he going to need here? He has to have a Lightning Bolt to kill the Nomads? That is like virtually all that will interact here. Pyroblast won't work. No countering the Cephalid, and that is it. That Cavern of Souls, just brutal. And, you know, saving the Wasteland doesn't change that situation. The Cavern just absolutely trumping a handful of counters from what many consider to be the best deck in the format.